Hey guys, it's Megan and welcome back to my channel, The Crafty Quinn. I like to make high-end decor using mostly Dollar Tree items. I have a very special video for you that is very different than the norm, and today I'm going to be sharing 3 functional decor DIYs, so let's jump right in. And starting off with the first one here, I am using one of those brand new Dollar Tree Easter baskets, and I kind of grabbed one of these right away. And I'm going to make, well, you'll see what I'm gonna make. So first I'm just taking the ribbon out of this because I'm about to paint it. And let me just tell you guys, the painting, it definitely took a minute. And by a minute, I mean like an hour. And so I just took the ribbon out of this first. It wasn't hot glued or anything. And so I first went with this like cashew color using the Waverly chalk paint. And then I realized that I didn't like this cashew color because it was very, very close to the color that we had on our walls when we first moved into our house. And I'm like, nope, never again. So then I grabbed the dark gray Waverly chalk paint. And then I just decided to go over all of that and just cover the basket completely. So you're about to see a lot of painting going on. And it definitely needed a bunch of coats because it was difficult to, get the paint in every single one of the little creases, and it was a woven basket, so definitely not the easiest to paint. I recommend using a different brush than I'm using. I think just a regular paintbrush would probably do a better job than this. And at one point, I definitely got a little bit frustrated because I just kind of dipped my paintbrush and got a bunch of paint, bunch of paint on it. Just trying to get this thing covered. And I'm getting paint everywhere, and and that's totally fine because I'm just using a silicone mat to do my crafting on. And I have to tell you guys, it's been a lifesaver ever since I got this thing. I'm never going back to using craft paper. And you'll see there's paint on this now, but in a little bit, maybe on my next craft or something, later on in the video, all of that's going to be completely gone because this mat has just been so easy to clean. Yep, still painting away. So like I said, the mat has been really, really helpful. So I went ahead and linked that for you in the description below, because if you're struggling to find something to work with, like craft paper, maybe you're using the Dollar Tree craft paper like I was, I recommend getting this instead because it will not only save you tons of money on craft paper, but also a lot on cleanup. So this was a little insert that I had from I purchased a trash can, and I believe it was from Target or something, and I never ended up using it. So this insert that went with it never quite fit right. So I'm like, I need to do something with this basket because it's just been sitting here. And I think I got it from the dollar spot section probably. And so eventually I just cut this, this liner. Yeah, liner, that's the word I'm looking for. I cut the liner, and I just hot glued it back together basically. I cut out just a couple strips of the fabric just to get it to a point where I could actually have it fit perfectly, and then I just rolled up the ends of the liner, and then I hot glued each side to just secure it in place. So I'm just covering up that pink part that didn't quite get covered with the paint. So I think I had it come down about an inch, and like I said, it was definitely difficult to cover the basket completely with the paint, with the foam brush. So I just had the liner come down, I want to say about a little more than an inch, maybe an inch and a half down, and that was just kind of the way it happened with the way I was folding it anyway. But I'm glad it ended up being a perfect fit, because I had to cut this thing I don't even know how many times. I'm just like, no, I need to cut more of it. But it was the best liner that I had, and then I just washed the liner, and then and it was like perfect for this little basket. So definitely recommend using hot glue for this. Hot glue is definitely your friend. I use hot glue on pretty much everything. Yeah, and once you have it folded over, then I just tied on a little tag, and this is going to be for our electronics. Like you see here, like my husband's phone that's plugged in right now. So we have a nice place to put all of our things that normally just sit on the countertop. And today's video is a collaboration with Jenny from Lovely Moments Creating. I've been a big fan of hers for a while, so I'm so honored that she agreed to team up for a video. Her style is Dollar Tree DIYs as well, and she also does high-end farmhouse Dollar Tree DIYs. So I'm really, really glad that we got to team up, because I felt like we had a similar style, and it's always great when you can get folks like that together. So for my next DIY, I have for you a Happy Easter sign, and that's one of those new Easter signs that Dollar Tree has on the floor right now. And I took the original metal bunny that was on here, and I used that for a little shadow box that I created in my last video, the video that just came out before this one. And I made a little kind of like high-end decor piece with that one, and I'm just glad I got to reuse the sign that this came from too. So I don't like to let anything go to waste. If I have a sign left over, then I'm definitely going to keep it for something. So I'm using this, I used the finger sander for this, and I have to tell you that definitely helped even out the little bunny outline that was left. That finger sander has been a lifesaver too, because I was using just regular sandpaper, and I wasn't really getting anywhere. I was using like P100 or P150, and I just, like I said, wasn't really getting anywhere. So I found this thing on Amazon, this finger sander, and it's been fantastic. So I link that for you down below as well. So I'm just giving this a nice coat of paint, the Waverly white chalk paint, and I've been using this color a lot ever since I discovered the Waverly chalk paint. And so I'm leaving those 4 lines that you see there, I'm leaving them there on purpose. They were lines that were already in the sign to make it look like it was like, I guess, a bunch of wood boards put together. And I'm just leaving them there for a simple reason, and that is so that I can draw new lines and to be able to have a starting place. So what I did was I took my Sharpie marker, and I just took a level or a ruler, you could say, and I just kind of used that as my starting point and just drew a Sharpie line right across, because I wanted it to look like shiplap. And that's kind of been the theme that I've been going with lately. Just kind of make everything look like it was once shiplap or destroyed wood or something, or barn wood, something like that. So now I'm using one of those new Dollar Tree self-adhesive stencils, and I'm just actually taking some black chalk paint, and I can't remember where I got this from. It's the little bottle that you see right there in the front, and I can't remember if I got that from Dollar Tree too. It might have been in their crafting section, but don't quote me on that. So I'm just covering it with my foam brush that I used for gray paint earlier, because like I said, I don't let anything go to waste. And I do go through a bunch of foam brushes, but I like to reuse them if I can. So I'm just covering up the stencil with the paint, because this is probably the best black paint that I have, because the other kind that I have is acrylic and it takes forever to dry. So I tend to use chalk paint for a lot of my crafts because it just dries faster, and for the sake of videos, that's very helpful. I got it a little bit outside the stencil there, so I went back and I did fix that later with the Waverly chalk paint, white chalk paint. I would probably recommend maybe just a regular little tiny paintbrush to do this with, because the downside of using foam brushes is they do tend to absorb a lot of the paint, so then you have to go back and use more paint. So I will say that much. So once that is on, I am now gluing on my hooks, because this is actually going to be a keyring holder. So this is my second functional decor piece. And this was a fun challenge that Jenny and I challenged each other to do. We said, you know, let's make some functional decor DIYs and see how it goes. And I have to say, for a while, I had a hard time thinking of stuff. And then, kind of just like the rest of my videos, I came up with some things kind of under pressure. And my husband will tell you that's not always the greatest, but I always tend to get my best ideas under pressure. So that's my method. So now I'm just lining up these hooks just so. I'm gonna hot glue them down now. And I did spray paint those hooks because those were actually clear hooks that I want to say I got them from Dollar Tree or Aldi. So I just took a coat of spray paint, black spray paint. So hot glue has been great with holding those down. I don't think I'll need to go back with anything else to secure them, but I don't recommend, you know, obviously putting very heavy things on this, because you are just relying on the hot glue. So anything that I put on here would have to be very light. So, sorry, this part is taking a while. And I was just trying to make sure that I had them lined up just so, because my OCD certainly gets in the way of things, because they have to be exactly the right amount of space apart and, you know, coming in from each side. And I'm just working to make sure they look as even as possible. And then I am using one of those brand new Dollar Tree rub-on transfers. And I was saving this one for a while because it's so pretty and I didn't know what to do with it. But then I'm really glad I used it for this because it actually fit perfectly. So I hope I can find these stickers again, because when I did, that was it. Those ran out really, really quickly and they've been really hard to find. I did not see them until I went to a large Dollar Tree store. So if you are in the hunt for these rub-on transfers, definitely look at the larger stores. There's a very, very small chance that a medium or small Dollar Tree store will carry these. And if they do, they will run out of them quickly. So if they do carry them, it won't be for long. You'll have definitely a better chance of finding them at a larger Dollar Tree that carries more of it in store. So I'm using the back of my foam brush now because it has a flat bottom, and that worked well to push down on the transfer. You really have to make sure you're pushing down on the very, very tips and edges of the leaves on the outside, especially because they do not like to come off. So make sure you are putting a lot of pressure on the very ends of the leaves. So now I'm just taking my distressing brush, and I call this my distressing brush, and that's only because I have used this brush multiple times to distress things using the antique Waverly wax. But then I ended up keeping it this way and using it like this, so it's become kind of like a dry brush for me to use for all of my distressing projects. So it doesn't really matter that I've used this one a couple times, because I like the way that the brush is now, having used it for other things. So I'm getting braver with this Waverly antique wax. I used to put very, very small amounts of this on all of my projects, but now I'm just kind of going for it. As you can see here, I put it around the very edges of the top of the piece. I want to make it look like distressed barnwood. And so I'm doing the same for the bottom that I did for the top. Just kind of want to make it look like it's a piece of wood that was broken off or something, and give it that real rustic charm. And then I kind of do the same for the edges too. I might need to go back and paint that actually now, the sides of it, now that I look at it. And so I just put a little bit of the wax on all of the sides. And I have to tell you guys, I'm in love with this piece. This is my absolute favorite. And I know I say this in almost all of my videos, but I really love this. I mean, even looking at it now, I'm just like, I'm more in love with it now than before. So I just put some more leaves on each line, and yeah, what can I say? Oh, so I did want to go back and show you guys what I actually did, and I'm sorry this is after, but that right there was just showing you guys how I actually did the Sharpie lines. So this is my very last DIY, and this was not exactly my favorite, but it was just a really easy, functional decor piece, just like for our theme. And I just took those Dollar Tree pearl stickers. It got stuck to my sleeve there. Just taking those little pearl stick-ons. They basically are just like a strip of, I guess, halved pearls that Dollar Tree likes to sell. And so I kind of put them in a way where there's some that start at the top and then there's some that start from the bottom. So kind of giving it a really funky pattern. And I want to say I went through maybe a sheet and a quarter of this. So if you want to recreate this, definitely grab 2 packs of those pearl stickers. And it's rolling away there. And this is another one where you have to worry about lining everything up perfectly if you're like me. So I have a lot of projects like this. So, you know, just do the best you can. And oh yeah, I also got this container from the Dollar Tree as well. It was just those, I forget what they're called. The, oh my gosh. If you guys can think of it, leave it down in the comments below. The wafer sticks, I think is what they're called. And so I picked up just a jar of those purposely because I wanted to use it to hold some things like paintbrushes or pens. Basically, it could function as either an office decor pick, office decor piece, a craft room decor piece, even a kitchen decor piece. So this is what it looks like when it's all done. And like I said, I had to use 1 1/4 sheets of this. So just grab 2 packs of those if you make this. And I know this is not exactly the best practice, but I was not very patient. So and this actually was kind of helpful because it actually managed to get in the places that it's so hard to reach, I guess, in between each little pearl with the paintbrush. So this was kind of like a faster way to do it. And I'm sure a lot of you that like to paint stuff like me were probably cringing at that part, so I apologize. But like I said, I was very impatient and was just looking for a fast way to cover this. So I'm first coating it with this dark gray color, and at first I wanted it to be this color, but then I realized I'm not exactly, I don't know, feeling this color, and I was like, you know what, this is actually great. Oh, there's the crafty kitty, by the way. This is my cat Marcus. We call him the crafty kitty, and he likes to kind of just observe when I'm crafting, and he just kind of likes to be a part of all of my crafting videos now. So he tends to make at least 1 appearance in all of my videos. So I think I was saying that, so I wanted it to be this color, but I wasn't exactly happy with, I guess, how it looked. And then I realized that having a dark coat underneath will probably help with the white spray paint. I have heard that from one of you before, one of my subscribers. You did mention to me before that starting off with a dark coat to cover something will help a color like white cover something even better. So I'm trying out that technique, and I have to say that it definitely worked. So definitely this needs a couple coats if you are going to go with just this color even. So like I said, it's definitely tricky to get the paintbrush in between each one of the pearls. So definitely top it off with spray paint if you can. And I topped it off with the white spray paint here, and this is just one way that you can use this piece. So that is today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching. And if you want to watch more videos, they're right here on the left. And so let's make sure to keep in touch. Like, subscribe, check me out on Instagram. Thank you.